Okay. We are live. We are live. Let me know if y'all can hear me. I want to thank everybody. Let me mute this YouTube because I'm looking at. Okay. I want to thank everybody for joining this live stream. I just wanted to jump on because it's a lot of misinformation and false narratives out there right now. And what's up, Gav? I'm gonna shout out everybody in the chat real quick. Shout out to Sean Livingston. Shout out to Tata Man. Shout out to Bounty Boom, Fenton Kraken, Tavion Parrish, Corey Tidwell. What's up? What's up? Script Cure, Bay Area. Who else we got here? Gav Garian, if that's how you pronounce it. Nine Star Games. Cold Blood Sensei, PlayStation Disciple. What's up? Who else? 22. Juan Castillo, Emmanuel A1. Y'all showing up for your boy. XB Black Ice. Levon Kaysen. I call him Levon. He told me, hey, Pastor, stop calling me Levon. It's Levon. So shout out to Levon Kaysen. Alpha Will was good, bro. Crap Attack 614. RRJ411. What's good, everybody? Thanks for joining. We're gonna get this show started, but before I start off, I just want to send my prayers, my love, and condolences out to my bro, Next Gen 720. He's dealing with a loss in his family right now, so prayers up for him in the chat. Put up the prayer emoji for him if y'all can. Send some love and condolences his way. DM him, shout him out on Twitter. Let him know we got his back in these trying times. It's always difficult when you lose a family member or you lose someone that's close to you. So we definitely want to let him know that we got his back. He's in our prayers. His family's in our prayers, and we sending all the love and the blessings his way. Shout out to David the Maker, King Thrash Gaming. Who else we got? Okay. So we're gonna get started. All right, it's a lot of misinfo. You know what? It's like people don't even read or comprehend no more. They see a headline and they instantly go off the headline. Now I woke up today with my guy Kratos doing heavy damage controlling from taking this article saying Xbox Series X won't push 8K. Raytracing has failed to deliver amidst Xbox boss. And is actually people out there taking their headline as a saying as if the Xbox Series S can't do ray tracing or is struggling to do ray tracing. A lot of missing information there, and that lets me know people do not read the article. And what Phil was actually talking about, he was referencing a PC article about the 2080 Ti and what was said in that article. And what was said in that article was actually true for the overall things. But we're gonna get into it because I'm finna skip over. I'm finna start off with this article that everybody is talking about. After we discuss this and I break pony legs, then we're gonna move over to the Xbox heating issue. And I'm gonna walk that in terms of the heating issue, I'm gonna walk that line carefully. Meaning that how I go about talking about it, because I work for a company. I just don't want to get in trouble in correlating information versus what I'm talking about with the X and then who I work for. So I'm gonna be careful in how I do it. But first, we're gonna talk about this Xbox can't do ray tracing, and this article is proof why the Xbox Series S need a patch for ray tracing and having an issue with doing ray tracing. These ponies out here they scrambling and scraping for anything, man, and it just doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense, but it's all fun and games, man. It's all fun this game. Keep us laughing and stuff all the way up until we get these systems in our hands. So this is what we're going to do. I'm finna go over to this article and we're going to get it popping. You know what I'm saying? You already know. It's Mr. What are we doing here? You know, King Thrash is the king of spreading false information and not understanding what the fuck he is reading. But we gonna keep it moving though. Okay, so if you move over to the Metro article, right? The headline reads Xbox Series X won't push 8K. Okay. We knew that. We knew both consoles won't go push 8K. We know that along with ray tracing, HDR, 8K, 8K, 4K, all of these are buzzwords. Okay. All of these are buzzwords, and they are technical words for the masses that don't understand technology. So whether explaining to a person what 4K is, what 1080p is, what 8K is, what these resolutions is, and things like that from a technical perspective, you use terms like 8K, 4K, HDR, ray tracing. You use these simplified terms for the masses who don't understand the technology behind what these terms are referencing. So instead of having to explain everything, you say 4K, 8K, and most people look at that and say, okay, they give me a clearer image or a better resolution or a better image. However they look at it, instead of saying this is 3840 by this 2160 and this and that, and it means this many pixels, 2 million pixels versus 4 million pixels, and instead of saying all that, you just say 8K, 4K. These are terms, buzzwords, right? All right. So the head of this article says Xbox Series X won't push 8K. We knew that when the PS5 came out saying Gran Turismo was going to be running at 8K, 120 frames per second. We knew that wasn't real, or 240 frames per second, or whatever. We knew that these consoles would not be pushing 8K. Technologically wise, in terms of the hardware, we're nowhere near a system pushing 8K unless you got thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to spend on a PC, and even then you're probably working with multiple GPUs even to get that done, right? Right. Okay. So we knew that was false. We knew that these companies are just trying to sell their systems. And every year, every generation, we get these new terms and buzzwords, smart delivery. We get all this new shit, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? We get all these terms and stuff to sell their system. So let's just start off with the first part of the article. Say Phil Spencer has warned that 8K will not be the norm in the next gen, and that ray tracing support has so far been spotty. Everybody went off and say, oh, the Series X can't do ray tracing. It's having troubles with ray tracing. That's why they got to patch it on. What? What are we doing here? Is that what you hear when you read this? Okay, so this article in which he's making this statement reference a previous article, right? And we're gonna go back to that previous article because we're gonna get all this together. Okay, so look, he says since there's plenty that argue that 4K resolution is already a waste of resources when it comes to video games, many were rolling their eyes at the suggestion that next gen consoles will be chasing 8K, as well as surprisingly Xbox boss Phil Spencer once was one of those skeptics. Okay, let's see here. Where the part that I want to read it? It's not like okay. Where is it? Okay, where that part at? Okay, let me see. Where's the part that I want to read? Okay, here we go. He said, elsewhere in the interview, Spencer talked about buzzword bingo. I said that word before, buzzword bingo. A familiar concept for any new console launch, and agreed with the premise in a recent PC game article. He agreed with the premise of a recent PC game article, meaning he agrees with someone else's opinion. Okay? He agrees with someone else's opinion. And I'm still trying to figure out where in this article did it say the Series X was incapable of doing ray tracing And number two, and that this article is the reason why ray tracing is being patched. We still trying to find it. That's what I'm talking about as far as missing information. And ponies always going with the headline on only. They don't read. They can't comprehend. I don't know if it's the hay in the barn. I don't know what type of food they feeding these horses out here. But somebody better check on these animals in these barns. You know what I'm saying? Check the hay, check the food they eating. Because these horses out here, they tripping today. They tripping today. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Oh, man. So he say, premise in a recent PC game article that suggested ray tracing has failed to deliver on its promise. Now, what promise was that in terms of the ray tracing? He said, when I think about games where ray tracing has had a dramatic impact on my experience as a player, says Spencer, it's kind of spotty. Meaning that ray tracing in terms of how it was brought to the masses, in terms of how it was marketed to gamers, in terms of being something that will be impactful to the experience. Okay, let me get my Malcolm X on. To the experience of the gamer. That hasn't happened because the adoption of ray tracing, even on the PC side, hasn't been that much. How many games can you name on the PC side that has ray tracing implemented? My guy King's Blood is an avid PC player. He say him and his squads don't even turn ray tracing on. Okay, so they're talking about the impact of ray tracing on the gaming culture and the game in itself, the impact on the experience of ray tracing in terms of gaming. It's been spotty at best. It's been spotty at best. And he's right. Because what PC player you know out there with the 2080 Ti's, the 3070, that actually celebrate ray tracing? PC players are still talking about frames. They are still talking about frames. Same Fox 27. You can say that ray tracing is overrated. And that's what this article is saying. It's not saying the Series X can't do ray tracing. It's not saying this is the reason why Series X games are going to be patched. It's saying ray tracing is overrated and it's been spotty in terms of its impact on the gaming experience. Meaning, no gamer really cares if they have it or not. It's not a defining feature. It's not a must-have feature. Most gamers don't even know what ray tracing is. Who else? Yeah, I'm gonna do the gospel today. I seen some ponies out there take a screenshot of some light rays, of some light coming through a window and say ray tracing. I see some ponies take a screenshot of a shadow and say ray tracing. What are we doing here? Look, y'all got to stop going off these. Like, if I see a headline, I instantly click and I read the article, right? Even if I scan through the article searching for major points, I make sure I gain some ground with that article. So if I go speak on it, I can say, okay, well, the article is saying this or it's not saying this. But in this case, far too often, people go with the headlines because they have certain agendas and certain narratives. Now, I ain't gonna be the pot calling the kettle black. I do that sometimes too. Yeah, I do that sometimes too, to mess with the ponies and get them riled up. But I do it because I know that they're gonna instantly be triggered off my tweet and the headline of their article versus them actually clicking on the article and reading it. That's why I do it. Okay? That's why he says, "Spotty, it's an interesting change of direction for Spencer, who helped to push 4K as a major selling point of the Xbox One X when he was certainly more avid player of buzzword." Yeah, Microsoft, yeah, they was. I do agree with this. Phil and Microsoft did start this buzzword shit with 4K and all this shit, HDR and all this shit. And now he kind of, flip-flopping. You know what I'm saying? So let's go over to that article. Let's go over to the article that it was referencing. Okay. This is the actual article that they're referencing. It's from August 21st, 2020. Ray tracing has failed to deliver on its promise. If I brought a GeForce RTX 2080 Ti, I would be so pissed right now. So this article wasn't even about the Series X. It was about the PC and the adoption of ray tracing and the experience of ray tracing on the PC in terms of the 2080 Ti's and those GPUs, right? So what he say? He said ray tracing was the great hope for NVIDIA's current generation of graphics cards. And the main reason given for their high cost, meaning that NVIDIA kind of charge people over with all the ray tracing and stuff and hardware, all that. That's his opinion. That's not mine. Yet here we are on the dawn of the next generation, and I'm still waiting for a ray tracing game that I actually give a damn about. Let me read that again. Yet here we are on the dawn of the next generation, and I'm still waiting for a ray tracing game that I actually give a damn about. This is the article that Phil was agreeing with. He said, don't get me wrong, there have been some impressive examples of the tech, the reflections of Battlefield 5, the shadows of Tomb Raider, and the global illumination of Metro Exodus are all good, but they're not jaw-droppingly awesome. We even got one game that went all out to include as many of these effects as possible. I am, of course, talking about Control, which generally made for some beautiful scenes. Even here, though, I don't feel like ray tracing was actually doing much to improve or even change the gameplay. Okay. They're right in a sense. Ray tracing is going to make the games look better in terms of light, reflections, shadows, and things like that. But is it actually going to have a true impact on your gaming experience? I actually agree with Sony in this case that the I/O and the SSD will have a bigger impact on gaming than ray tracing. So I see why Phil agreed with this article, because it's not a must-have feature. The average gamer probably won't even know that they're looking at ray tracing. Okay? That they're looking at ray tracing. The average gamer won't know. The average gamer won't know. But you know what the average gamer will know? They'll see the difference in load times. All right? They'll see the difference in the way games are created and built, how fast they load, how fast you get access to them. I agree with Sony on that. And I agree with Sony and Microsoft on that. But let's not use this article. Okay, let's not use this article as ammo to say that the Series X is incapable of doing ray tracing, or that the Series X is having issues with ray tracing, and this is the reason why ray tracing will be patched. Let's not do that. If we're going to keep it real, we're going to keep it real. Okay? If we're going to keep it real, we're going to keep it real. My bad, I had to switch to my stream. I'm working on one big-ass TV monitor. I should hook my other monitor up. But look, let's stop with this misinformation, okay? All right, let's stop with this, right? So this article is not saying the Series X, once again, is incapable of doing ray tracing, or this is the reason why ray tracing. It's just saying it's talking about the adaptation of ray tracing and its impact on the experience of gaming. Do your gaming experience change since you have ray trace shadows and lights or reflections? All right. When you're swinging through the city in Spider-Man in 4K 30, Are you going to be looking for what's ray tracing, not, or are you going to be focused on the gameplay itself? When you're driving through the streets of the new Forza or the new Gran Turismo, are you going to be focused on what's ray traced, or are you going to be trying to win the game? Okay. What are we doing here? Are y'all going to be focused on that? Like I said, my guy Kingsblood, after he said they don't even use ray tracing. They don't even turn that shit on. Because performance and frames matter over all of these graphical details and effects when it comes to PC players. You know, and there's very few people out there, even in the PC community, who have the GPUs to even run ray tracing and shit like that. So this article was talking about the adaptation, once again, the adaptation of ray tracing and the impact it has on your overall experience. And at this point, the average gamer won't know what the fuck they looking at. So the impact is spotty. If at that. Because it doesn't affect your gaming experience either way. Exactly, King. It's a fucking gimmick. Too much of a hit to the frames. Exactly. And that's why the PS5 is struggling to do it. The Series X is gonna do it, but it ain't gonna be it might be slightly better than the PS5 implementation, but it's still gonna be a hit there. It's still gonna be a penalty there. Microsoft said this at the last, what's the name they did? Hot Chips. It's still a penalty there. So that's why most PC gamers don't turn it on, because they want all the frames they can get. They want the most smoothest experience. They want that butter pecan type experience, that hot butter on a knife experience. They want that shit smooth as hell. So of course, in terms of the PC, and once PC players found out the hit that it takes on the front, I don't need this shit turned on. I don't care about no lights and reflections and shadows. I don't care about that shit. Yeah, prayers up for my boy Z. So now that I talk about it, we're gonna get over to this whole overheating issue, okay? Let me pull this up. Where is that article? Let me see here. It's a lot of article. Xbox. Let me see. Do I get it? No, this is the Xbox has always chased power. This is not enough. I'm still reading this article. I'm still reading this article. This is actually a good article. They stated in here too. And see, this one I'm talking about, these ponies out here not knowing what the fuck they talking about and not reading shit. You know what I'm saying? So let me go here. My guy Defiance is always hooking up with the latest articles. Let me see. Prepare to. Let me see here. Is it in here? Let me see. I'll find it. I know why. Look at this. This is what I'm getting on. Yo, this is what I'm getting on Twitter right now, right? Because people don't understand the temperatures of CPUs and GPUs. Now, I don't have an Xbox Series X, okay? I don't. So anything I say from here on out, I'll be based off assumptions and opinions, okay? Anything I'll be, but I also going to incorporate what I do in terms of my job, because okay, so here's the one right here. Okay, so I will just take this for it. Okay, so they said the Series X is hot, likely really hot. It doesn't make any noise. It's hot, but it's not making noise. That kind of confuses me, because usually when something is hot, okay, it's a difference between something being hot and overheating. Let's get that straight. Okay. Overheating will either force two things: the fans to increase on that particular device to try to decrease the heat on the CPU or the APU, or to dissipate as much heat as possible to cool it down, or two, it overheats to a point where the temperature, it has now risen outside the normal operating usage of that device, forcing that device to shut down. Every device, in terms of a console, even a phone, even your cell phone, has a normal operating temperature, right? And it has technology built into that specific device. And it says, if this device reaches this particular temperature, shut it down, because at that point it is operating outside the normal usage or the normal temperature usage of that specific device, and the silicon has reached a point where it's too hot to operate. So the security feature will kick in and say, instead of overheat or damage this silicon, we're going to tell the user, we're going to shut this device down for the user, right? We see it on iPhones. If you ever had an iPhone that reached its that starts to get really hot, and you see that thermometer show up on the screen saying this device is too hot, that's when a device is operating outside of its normal temperature use. Okay, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. We're finna get technical with this. That's when the device is operating outside of its normal temperature use, right? And so we don't have a lot to go by, because we don't even have the normal operating temperatures of the Series X in terms of how hot it can get before those security measures kick in. We don't even know the highest temperature it can get to and still maintain and still be operating, even though it's either warm or hot. But how can it listen to what they said? The device is hot, really, really hot, but it's quiet. If it's that hot and it's that toasty, why hasn't the fan increased? Why don't you hear more of the fan like on the PS4 Pro? Because we know the PS4 Pro, once it started getting really, really hot, it sounds like a jet engine. Why? Because the fans is compensating for the temperature of the device. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? We know the PS4 Pro gets really loud because the fans increase to compensate for the temperature of the device. Meaning that the fans increase because it's trying to dissipate and clear as much heat from the device. So it speeds up the fans. Fans will say it's called thermal throttling when it gets too hot for the system to be working at its normal state. Exactly. So my man say the device is hot, really, really hot, toasty, but it's quiet. Those two things don't even go together. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? They don't go together. They do not go together. Then it's so much that you have to, when you think about a device overheating or getting heat hot to the touch, it's so much that goes on in terms of the environment, where the system is sitting at that point. And plus, we know these are preview systems. We don't know how close these systems are to the retail version. Now, I did see someone out there with a retail version of the system, but I don't know if that's one of the systems that they're claiming are getting hot but quiet. That doesn't even make sense. It's really, really hot, but it's really, really quiet. If it's really, really hot and it's really, really quiet, that means something ain't right. Something ain't doing what it's supposed to do. Something is not doing what it's supposed to do. Look, never mind, Thrash. Thrash has already told me he has no idea what the fuck he be talking about sometimes. The man thought the Series S was came with a speaker so it can help PC players who have monitors with no speakers. And that's who we listening to. That's who we get now. Let me say that again. The man thought the Series S had that's a speaker, my nigga. He said it just like this. That's a speaker, my nigga. It's for PC players who have monitors with no speakers. I know my shit. What are we doing here? That's who we getting our information from. Now, don't get me wrong. King Thrash is my bro. You know what I'm saying? And we spar all the time. We spar all the time. That's my bro. You know what I'm saying? That's my bro. And I respect, bro. I respect his platform. I respect what he does. You know what I'm saying? I call him the PS Whisperer, the PlayStation Whisperer. He be whispering all that bullshit to the PlayStation niggas. The PlayStation Whisperer. Be whispering all that bullshit. But that's my bro, though. I love him to death, bro. I got mad respect from him as a man, him as a gamer, in his platform. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught up in this console war shit at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? That's bro. But he is the PlayStation Whisperer, though. Okay? But, yeah, I'm going to talk my shit because this shit ain't adding up. It's hot, really hot. It's toasty, but it's quiet. They don't go together. Did it shut off? Did the fan speed up? Did it get louder? Did any thermal mechanisms kick in place when it was hot to the touch? Because that's what it's supposed to do. Now we know normal CPU temperatures range from 35 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius. So if they say the Series X is running at 45 degrees Celsius, that's normal temperatures for a CPU. A GPU usually get up in what? The 60s? The 60s or the 60s to 80s, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check something. Let me check something because if we go fact check and we're gonna fact talk, we're gonna talk that talk. And see, that's what I'm talking about. I wake up, I don't just jump to assumptions or any conclusions or anything like that, right? I fact check, I read to see what people are talking about, right? And then I evaluate what's been said, and then I form my own conclusion and my perspective on what's being said. I just don't jump out the gym like that. I don't. But a lot of these ponies want to jump out the gym and they're clowning. Look, this is what I don't get. They're clowning a system that Microsoft sent out into people's homes, to journalists, YouTubers, all around the world, right? A system that look, we're going to put this in your hands because we're that confident in our product. We don't need a controlled environment. You can touch our system, right? You can put it in your hands. You can weigh it, right? You can play it, right? You can run your own test on it, right? Loading test, okay? Quick resume test, auto HDR test to hold us up to our word that these features work. We're not going to put this system in a controlled environment and not let you touch it. The only way you can feel see if the console is running hot is if you put your face up to it and sniff it. That's what are we doing here? But we want to spend our time on the Series X overheating. When you put one PlayStation 5 in a controller, in a controlled environment, a suspect controlled environment, and say, hey, hands off, you can't touch it, but you can blow into our remote control. Right? That's crazy. I feel better getting information from people, even if this. I don't even need. I don't. I think people are misconstrued with something, a device that warms up or gets warm or get hot over a period of time due to use versus something actually overheating. If something is overheating, how is they still playing it? How is the fans not increasing? How has the system not shut down due to overheating? It doesn't make sense. Your phone warms up every time the CPU or the GPU in your phone does intensive tasks, it heats up. It heats up. And that could be due to gaming on it. That could be due to the photo library. It could be due to your photo library when it's indexing your photo library on your phone. That is an intensive task. So your phone will get warm to the touch, depending on what you're doing on the website, or video or video game. Any of those things can cause your device to get warm to the touch. They're called intensive tasks or time intensive tasks because indexing the photo library takes time. Hell, your phone can even get warm while it's charging. Your phone can get warm even while it's charging. Come on now. What are we doing here? This is what happens when capping goes wrong. Yeah, resource intensive tasks. My bad. Time intensive tasks is something that takes longer. In that respect of indexing, depending on how fast it could take some time. But resource intensive tasks is the right thing, Sean. Each device goes through this. Your computer, your laptops, your Xbox One X's, PlayStation 4s, PlayStation 4 Pros. Each of these things occurs. You wonder why your PS4 Pro is running like a jet engine or sound like a jet engine? It's because it gets hot. And those fans got to kick in over gear to keep the temperature down. Right? But in this case, we're saying that the Series X is hot, really, 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 really hot. Toasty. They saying you can cook on it, fry an egg on it, but yet it's quiet. Something not right. How's this add up? Can anybody tell me how is this adding up? Exactly, Bay Area. Hey, look. I gotta get if y'all want me to get super chats, look, I gotta get my watch hours up and I gotta get, I think, 1,000 subscribers. So y'all help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Y'all keep watching this content to get my watch hours up, and I'll be able to get that super chat. Because right now it's hard to read some of y'all messages when I'm in my bed because I'm not pretty much paying attention to the chat. Yeah, Verge, they like to lie. And they said the PS5 is cool. How they know it's cool? They weren't able to touch it. Look, let me tell you, I ain't gonna even lie. The only time I saw the LED light on that PS5 was one when the TV was off. It's a picture where they zoom up to the PS5 and it's on, but the TV is off. And then there's a picture of the PS5 where it's standing alone and the power is on, but it's no TV behind it or nothing. But when the TV was on and they was actually playing, it looked like the console was turned off. Am I the only one that saw that? Look, just think about this. If it was yields issues, if it was overheating issues, how is Microsoft continuously, not only in the United States, but over into, just look how many units they sent out. Look how many units they sent out, opposed to all them Japanese journalists and YouTubers getting access to one PS5 at a time. One PS5 at a time. They had one PS5. That bitch is big as your back. That motherfucker PS5 is big as your back. And some of you out there, motherfucker, got some big ass backs. Don't lie. Some of you motherfuckers got some big ass backs. You feel me? So what I'm saying is that if you're going to make claims or if you're going to go off what somebody's saying, then do your research. A CPU when it's idle, ideal 35 degrees Celsius. 35 to 45 degrees Celsius is good enough. 45 to 50 degrees Celsius, no good. 50 degrees Celsius and above is a disaster. Now, a CPU at 50% load, at 50% usage or load, 50 degrees Celsius is ideal. 50 to 65 degrees Celsius is good enough. 65 to 75 degrees or higher is either no good or disaster. Now, the GPU, 40 degrees Celsius is ideal. 40 to 50 degrees is good enough Celsius. Anything that's 50 degrees to 60 degrees Celsius and above is no good or disaster. So a GPU at like half load, 50% load, 55 to 60 degrees Celsius is ideal. 60 to 65 degrees Celsius is good enough. 65 to 70 degrees, anything over that is no good or disaster. So if a GPU is at full load, 65 degrees Celsius is ideal, meaning it's normal. 65 to 80 degrees Celsius is good enough. 80 to 95 degrees, anything above those is either no good or disaster. Do you guys really know what the fuck y'all talking about, bro? And then I read somewhere that it was 45 degrees after 4 hours of playing. And then when it went to idle, it dropped down to 7 degrees Celsius in less than 5 minutes. I don't know if that's fact, so I don't want to corroborate that. I'm just saying it was put out there. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true, but look, man, let me tell you, look, we can't sit up here and continue to deal. It's a distraction. It is a freaking distraction. The fact that these ponies got tricked by Sony. Sony tricked them once again. And they thought what was thought to be a hands-on with the PS5 was hands-on with the controller again. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. The hands-on PS5 wasn't even hands-on with the PS5 because they couldn't touch it. It was another, here is the controller again, because all you saw was blowing in the controller, turning the controller, and screaming in the controller. It was a trick because when you go, you know how was it trick, Samuel? When you go hands-on with the PS5, that means I get to put this system in my hands. I get to touch it, turn it around, take pictures of it and things like that. They was able to take pictures of it. I get to see the UI. I get to experience the OS features. It didn't say hands-on with the controller. It said hands-on with the PS5. I get the OS feature. I get to see what this create button is about, along with playing the games. But you know what they gave me? They told me I couldn't touch the system, right? And they focus more on what the controller can do with these games than the PS5 itself. I know the PS5 there to play games, right? But that's not the only thing that people is looking forward to. I know this system is built mainly to play games. But the other thing that incorporates that or comes with it is just as important. It contributes to the overall experience. Now, when I first heard that Sony was sending PlayStation 5s out to you Japanese YouTubers for PS5 hands-on, I'm thinking I'm finna see the UI finally. Even even the PlayStation fanboys who won't admit it now thought they was gonna see the UI, the OS features, and all that. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. That's why a lot of them was disappointed. Disappointed that they didn't see the U. They pretty much showed you what they showed you with Jeff. I bet you that was the same PS5 that Jeff got to play. Or he was on the dev kit. I said the UI, LaFlame. I said the UI. I'm a little sick though, so if I mess up a word, pardon me. Hold on, let me blow my nose. Yeah, big stop. They got hoodwinkled, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. Because before all this, they was talking about finding. We get to see the UI and all that. And what happened? You got Astrobot and another nigga blowing in his control. Toot toot. Toot toot. Let me get some toot toots in the chat. Fill up the chat with toot toot. That boy was tooting in that control. I'm telling you. Toot toot. Oh, man, bro. Astrobot, Godfall, which was running sluggish. Did you see the frame rate issues that Godfall had? But yet we want to sit up here and create a non-issue? Why would Microsoft send all them systems out knowing they had heating issues? Why? Why would they send them systems out knowing they had heating issues? Why not put it in a controlled environment? Why not put it in a controlled environment where you can control everything, not allow people to touch it, and control the narrative on what they play and what they have access to? Now, don't get me wrong. The Series X is out in people's homes. Microsoft is controlling what they're able to talk about at any specific time, but they're going through phases. They just went through the loading phases, how quick old games load. They gave you quick resume on how you can bounce between save states. Now they're talking about auto HDR. Okay, so they're going through stages in terms of how they're going to release. They already told you this month they're going to talk about next-gen games running on the Series X and show you. I think it has something to do with AMD. I think it has something to do with AMD since Microsoft is full RDNA 2. It's probably showing things that they can't talk about right now. I think they're going to wait towards the end of the month where AMD have their conference, or either a little bit before or after AMD conference, to really blow open the gates on this system right up in time to launch. But we sitting up here acting stupid and not willing to go read and research facts and things like that and creating a narrative. And then all these media sites running with it. Ain't no media site question how that PS5 hands-on and how closed off it was. Ain't nobody question that. Ain't nobody question the fact they couldn't even touch the system. But yet all these media outlets is running with the same info from this one guy. None of these articles has any update or new information. All of these articles are piggybacking on the same info from that guy on Twitter. You know why? Because they want the clicks. They need the clicks. Because they know that a lot of you guys will come to a YouTuber, your favorite YouTuber, for your information before you go to some of these websites now. I'll find Cap, and I'm just keeping it honest, man. I'm just keeping it honest, man. Y'all didn't expect that PS5 to be like that. Y'all didn't expect them to toot y'all like that. They toot. You got toot. Toot, the shells come. You got toot. I mean, just be honest. You got toot. Just be honest. You ain't expect them not to be able to touch the PS5. Matter of fact, they said they were sending the PS5 to YouTubers. They ain't even send the PS5. They brought them guys into a studio, bro. They brought them guys into a controlled environment, a lot of electronics and things hooked up and stuff that could be considered that PS5 not actually running, and that some things was happening off camera. But we don't want to get into any speculation like that. I mean, it is what it is. The pictures tell 1,000 words. A picture can tell 1,000 words, as they say. But just live with the fact that y'all got tutu. You know what I'm saying? That's all. Y'all got tutu. I just don't understand the fact that we're trying to create a heating issue with the system and don't understand it between something working in normal temperature versus something overheating. I don't understand that. And how no one looked at the fact that the man said it's really, 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 really hot, but it's really, 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 really quiet. And those two things do not go together. So I had to question what he said right there. Yeah, it's really hot, but these fans, it's not spinning no fast. It's just real quiet, but it's hot. I can fry egg. What? Shake Capo, at that time, I was legally blind. I don't know who that was. Somebody took over my account. Somebody was impersonating me on the show. So we're gonna leave that there. We're gonna leave that there. Okay, Poe, which sounds more reasonable? Not showing next gen games until closer to release, or not giving hands on the console until closer to release? Well, they showing. It's already been said that Microsoft will show games this month. This month. Like I said, I think that has something to do with what AMD got going on. I don't know, but they think they'll be showing next gen games this month. Look, the reason why I'm like that with Sony. Look, let me. I Bounty Boom. Thanks for showing up, man. I really appreciate your support. Alpha, this is the reason why I'm like that towards Sony. And I got my PlayStation 5 pre-ordered on Amazon. I just put some more money down on it the other day. I should have everything paid up here shortly and have my Series X is already paid off. So my PS5 this edition will be paid off in full, and my Series X will be paid off. My Series X already paid off. But this is why I'm like this towards Sony. I don't worry about content with Sony. I'm not worried about the games with Sony. Why should I? You guys told me, and Sony showed us the whole generation that they put out bangers. Well, not the whole generation. At least the beginning of the generation was pretty sparse. But in the middle and towards the end of this generation, they kicked into gear. Sony has proven time and time again when it comes to first-party content, they are still the leaders. They are still the leaders. I will say this. Sony is still the leaders in first-party content until Microsoft can pull up and say something different. And since we don't have no first-party content that's physically out to rival what Sony has been putting out, then I will still consider Sony to be the number one leader in first-party content. I don't need to worry about them. I know they put out bangers. I know they put out AAA exclusives and things like that. That's why I can focus on other things like, well, what's the UI and the OS is going to be like? You know what I'm saying? We never had to worry about Sony and content, but when it came to software in terms of the operating system, UI and stuff and how things work, they was a bit clunky. They weren't as streamlined as Microsoft OS was. So I can be concerned about those things over gaming when it comes to Sony, because I already know they're going to bring the content and they have the developers to do it, and they looking to purchase more developers. The ponies want to keep focusing on content. They lost the power to narrative. The service is questionable. The service area in terms of Xbox Live versus PCN, that's debatable. But some would say they lost that too. Game Pass has gone to another level. But when it comes to software, that's where you could say, Sony got the edge. And I'm saying that until Microsoft, even though I know what's coming, I have to see it though. I have to see it. I have to see Microsoft big AAA powers exclusive Um, See how they run on these systems. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to know it's coming. It's one thing to get the games in your hand and for them to just melt your eyes. So that's why I focus on other things when it comes to Sony, like the UI and the OS and how backwards compatibility gonna work and all these other features and things like that. Because the way Sony has done things in the past has been kind of clunky. Like, say for instance, on the PS4, if you brought the physical disc of a game and you brought the digital version of the game, right? You can't have the two instances can't coexist. So if I want to use the disc, I have to delete the digital version and then put the disc in and install it from the disc. Or if I want the digital version, I have to delete the disc version in order to play the digital. That's not streamlined. That's clunky. That doesn't add to my user experience. It takes away. So that's the thing. Little things like that, and knowing little things like that. That's what I'm talking about. What's good, Dark Glow Foods? You came in late. I'm probably about to wrap it up in a minute. But thanks for joining. Maybe you can go back and look at the show. Yeah, but I'm talking about the software, the usability. A lot of people want to say, "Hey, it's all about the games." I agree. It's all about the games until it's not. Until you have to deal with that OS and get to your games. Like this gen, they complained about a lot of Xbox, a lot of people claimed about the clunkiness of the Xbox UI, meaning they had to go through too many menus to get to their content. The store was messed up. Searching for content, how it was categorized, and how your content and your library was categorized. They wanted sort features and be able to put games in groups and shit like that to make it more easier to know where your content is, access it, and then play it. Things like that matter, but since it's all about the content, little things like that don't matter. But soon as we get these systems, and as soon as we start dealing with them, we have spent our time with them, somebody's going to find something to complain about. Somebody's going to find something to complain about. And then you know what I'm going to say? Remember y'all told me none of that shit matter. It's just all about the game. So deal with it. Because that's basically what y'all telling me, that none of these small features matter. None of it matters. It's just the games until it matters. Imagine you have to go where Microsoft had, you go through 3, 4, 5 menus just to get to something. That shit was frustrating. Why do I got to go through all these damn menus just to get to something? Yes, it's a very important feature. Like I said, it ain't gonna matter until it matters. And then the J-Dubs, the Porter Rocks, the King Thrashes of the world, who told y'all that these little features in these ease of use features that matter to your overall experience doesn't matter. And it's really contradicting themselves because J-Dub and all of them been out there screaming about how fast the SSD is and how fast games load. That's the shit I'm talking about. That matters. Don't say that don't matter and say content matters and then come out and say, look how fast these games load. Don't tell me that, Kratos. Don't tell me that don't nothing else matter but the games and then tweet out a tweet talking about, look how fast Godfall load. 2 seconds, faster than the Xbox Series X. I thought you said that shit didn't matter, Kratos. I thought that shit didn't matter. And you know what the first thing, and you know what's crazy is, everybody in the chat, that soon these systems come out, it ain't gonna even be, motherfuckers ain't gonna even be really focused on playing the games. They're gonna play the games, but they're gonna be playing them to see how fast they load, how fast you can get in and out of them compared to the Series X after they spent a whole 2 months saying none of that shit matters. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? That's the first thing I can see Kratos' first tweet. Look how fast Spider-Man load. Series X in trouble. I'm be like, Kratos, I thought none of this shit, man. Somebody took over my account, fuck nigga. That wasn't me. That's the first thing. I know my bro. Toot toot. I gotta get a tooted up meme. I gotta find a tooted up meme for the PlayStation controller. We gonna start telling. Nah, I ain't finna tell no grown man to toot it up. I ain't finna tell no grown. We got to put that shit on the meme though. I ain't finna tell no grown man to toot it up though. But we're gonna have to find a toot meme. Oh man. Hey, we gotta get that. I gotta get a gif where that dude blowing in the controller and put toot toot. Hey, them I gonna come in the crib. Hey, pause. J Dub gonna come in the crib. Hey, Alexa, toot toot. Number one PS5 gonna come on. Hey, that nigga gonna come in the crib. Hey, Alexa, tune it up. that motherfucking PS5 gonna come on. Oh man. Oh man, this is crazy. Look, thank y'all for tuning in, man. I just had to clear up the misinformation out there, man. I got a lot of work to do, man. I got Kratos was gone for about I think a month, not even a month, but a week straight. And I was just killing the ponies on Twitter. He came back like, man, post up, I did all my work. So he came he came back and did his thing. Now I got to go clean up his work. That's my bro, though, man. We always scrapping on Twitter, man. It speeds the day up. It keeps us laughing and stuff. People take this shit serious. We don't ever take this serious. It's about having fun. I think a lot of people take this console war shit too serious in terms of these systems. Me and Kratos do that back and forth to let people know, don't take this gaming shit that serious. It's never that serious. Because no matter what we do or say on Twitter, bro, we always either texting each other on the phone or we hop in the DMs and we just laughing and joking. How your family doing? My family good? Your family good? And just talking on some real life shit. Not even talking about gaming at times, man. But yeah, we do that to let people know this gaming shit is not serious, man. But yeah, man, thank y'all for joining, man. This was a great show. I heard the feedback. A lot of people telling me, hey, post up. We want to post up that BOZ show and all that shit and stuff like that. Well, when I'm on Z show, I got to yell and holler because Kratos either gonna pay the bills or he gonna keep talking and not let me talk. So I got to holler a lot. But when you get your own platform and you can be clear and concise about what you're saying, I don't need to holler at y'all. I don't want to holler at y'all. I want to talk to y'all. I want to conversate with y'all. Like I said, you know what I'm saying? Whether you agree with me or not, as long as you take something from the conversation, and as long as I take something from y'all, the Jews and stuff that y'all be dropping in the chat, man. Duke said the console wars are real, man. I lost my cousin to them after he took a poke ball and a blue shield to them. Oh man, oh man. No, baby. No, baby. But once again, man. Yeah, thanks, Alpha, man. Thanks. You're a good brother, man. I see you on Twitter in my comment section all the time. I thank you for your support, man. But I just wanted to jump on here and kind of clean things up, man, and to allow people to go out there and do your research and differentiate between something running hot, something overheating, and it's two different things. And just because something is running hot doesn't mean it has an issue. It still can be working within its normal operating temperature, even though it's warm or even hot to the touch. It just depends on what the system is doing at that particular time. But I think Microsoft is showing confidence in their hardware by not putting it in a controlled environment, but by sending these systems out to people's homes and allowing them to form their own opinion. So even dude said it's hot, I'm not going to tell him he wrong. He has the system. That's his opinion. And he has every right to that opinion. Well, that's his fact. I will say that's his fact. And if he has the system, he has every right to say that if he has the system. And this is the reason why Microsoft put these systems in people's hands for things like this, or to see if they can run into issues and things like that. I'm gonna dunk on you in on 2K. Hey, yo, that 2K. Hey, ain't anybody check out that 2K21 next gen trailer? Man, I thought I was watching real basketball, bro. I thought I was watching a real basketball game. So we definitely going have to hop on the 2K again like we did this current gen. I'm waiting for my systems to come to buy the next gen version. Once again, send your prayers and your condolences and your love and blessings to Z. He has lost a family member today. We might not hear from him for a couple of days. So if you can on Twitter, in his DMs or anywhere else that you can get in contact with him, let him know we got his support. Let him know we got his back. And if he need us, we're gonna be there for him. It's hard when you lose someone. It's definitely hard when you lose someone. But yeah, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. I still got to find out. Give me some concepts on what should I name this show. I'm trying to go live every Saturday, like every Saturday around like 1 o'clock p.m. Central. That'll be 2 o'clock Eastern every Saturday. That seems the days where it's open enough where people are not streaming, where I can get some stream time in and not have my viewership devoured by other stream shows. But let me know, what should I name my show, man? In the future, I'm gonna be looking to get people on. I know people asking me to get Kratos on, J Dub. People asking me to get Porter Rock on, and stuff like that. I done already had Z on. I might get him on. I'm gonna get some other people on. Um, Tick Podcast. Maybe I could get Mads Gaming. All the people that show me love and show me some support. But yeah, hit me up on Twitter, man. Drop it into my comment section. Say, Post, you should name your show this. I'll figure out what the best one is, and then we'll definitely go from there. But look, all my bots, man, it's wartime right now. It's wartime. King Thrash, Porter Rock, Jabari, Crater, they didn't claim war on the Xbox community. They out here with all this misinformation. So when we out in these streets, man, we gotta clean up all this stuff, man. We gotta fire back, man. We can't let them control the narrative. Yeah, that crap gaming shit, man. Crap gaming just from Megaton to Megastun. That hey, I don't know if he do that on purpose, man. He probably do it on that purpose because controversy, whether it's good or bad, whether you on the good side or bad side of controversy, it brings in views. It draws people to you. So he could be doing that stupid shit on purpose. I don't know if if he's that stupid. But yeah, the one other thing I want to say is that we're a little bit over a month away of actually having our hands on with these systems, having it in our house, in our homes, and playing them for ourselves. I can't wait. I want the SSD in terms of how quick these games load. I'm so tired of waiting 2-3 minutes for a game to load to get in and out of a game and things like that. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm just ready for next year, man. This gen has went on too freaking long, and man, I can't wait. I'm gonna have both systems. I don't know about play. I might just play PlayStation. I might just get PlayStation Plus and just play PlayStation Classics. I ain't spending no $70 on the game. I am not paying $75 for no standard version game. Not me. You ain't chicken the kid. Game Pass all the way. I'll name it. What are we doing here? Yeah, I'm gonna think about that. I'm gonna have to get some logos and stuff designed, get an intro done and stuff like that. Try to get the quality of the content up with where the other Xbox YouTubers have theirs. But I don't want y'all to get caught up in the logos or the intro. I just want y'all to be a part of the conversation. Like I said, whether we disagree or agree, as long as you get something from the conversation, that is important. All right. No games, no ray tracing, no new Bethesda games or Xbox games for years. Series X Overheating said, you know what, Ghost of New Orleans, you be on Twitter too. Let me talk to your puss size. Say, hey, chat, I want everybody to zoom in on Ghost of New Orleans because this is a perfect example of a puss ass nigga. Okay. This is a perfect example of a puss ass nigga. I got love for your Ghost, but you a puss ass nigga right now. You're a pussy ass nigga. Now, up above a pussy ass nigga is a little bitty bitch. You ain't reached the little bitty bitch yet. You're just a pussy ass nigga right now. Okay? So this this no games narrative has been gone. Don't nobody even talk about that no more. Ray tracing is gonna be there. Whatever capacity it is, it's going to be doing it a little bit better than the PS5 struggling with right now. The PS5 struggling right now, especially running 2K21, the next generation game, at 22 frames per second. But we're gonna look over that now. Bethesda games take time. We don't know how long Bethesda games have been in development, so we don't know what was slated for 2020 that probably got pushed back to 2021. We don't know what years their games come out. Them games could have been in development longer than we think they. I don't know why when somebody acquire a studio, why they acquire a studio, y'all think that as soon as they acquire them, that's when they started working on games. But that's the game's been in development for years. For years. We don't know what game they have ready out of their 8 studios. We're pretty much 12 because of the other 4, but we're not, we don't know what games that are ready or about to come out of the oven. So for y'all to sit up here and say years, that's crazy. To assume it's gonna be years, that's crazy, bro. Stop it. Stop it. Now you a puss ass nigga right now. Don't graduate to little bitty bitch. You don't want to be a little bitty bitch. Just stay at the puss ass nigga right now. You don't want to graduate to a little bitty bitch. And the way you stay away, even stay away from a puss ass nigga and stop putting out bullshit like you just typed to go some New Orleans. We're not gonna do this today. We're not gonna do this today. Microsoft just brought a whole E3 conference. Fuck is you talking about? And 2K21 is struggling at 22 frames per second on the PS5. A $500 system you just paid for 22 frames. Now that'll get you a little bitty bitch right there. That will get you a little bitty bitch right there. Paying $500 for a system that's gonna give you 22 frames on a basketball game. Now you don't want to become a little bitty bitch, and you don't want to stay at a puss ass nigga. So just stop saying that bullshit. You hear me, Ghost and Newly? Sony brought the best games of E3 and Ghost. We're not gonna do this. I'm not gonna extend this show longer. Messing around with your puss ass nigga. So I'm gonna leave this show at you being a puss ass nigga. Okay. The next time I stream, you come on here talking that same shit, Ghost of New Orleans, we're gonna put you at a little bitty bitch. You don't want to be a little bitty bitch, we're gonna have you all on Twitter like, look at that little bitty bitch. You don't want that. You don't want that, man. So we're gonna get it on. We're gonna get on out of here, man. Thanks y'all for showing up. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you share. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you bring as many people to my channel as possible. I'm trying to get my subscribers up to 1,000 and trying to get I forgot how many watch hours I have to have. I think it's like 3,000 or 4,000. But we'll get there, man. It only takes a little to gain a lot. Remember that. It only takes a little to gain a lot. So I'm not going to rush it. You stack enough pennies, put enough pennies together, you'll get $1. But thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. I'm finna sign off. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Be blessed. God bless. One love. I'm out.